Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Looks like we got about 67 of you guys in the house today. I guess I should have said my intro. So, hey guys, what's going on? It's Jeb here. Looks like we got some old faces. MT Coiner in the house. Let's see, who else? Adri DeJong, we have you in the house. Let's see. Some Kuik. I never figured out how to pronounce your name, but I definitely do recognize your face, guys. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, honestly, there's not too many new faces this early on. But guys, we have a lot that we need to discuss in today's video. I want to talk about the pullback that we had this morning. I want to talk about some places that you might be interested in putting in long positions. I want to talk about the RSI, some different moving averages. There's a lot that we're going to be discussing in today's video. If you do enjoy today's live stream, I should say, make sure you smash those likes, guys. Let's see if we can get those likes on up right out the gate. First, before we go ahead and dive on into it, I want to talk to you guys for a little bit. How are you guys doing? Have you made any profitable trades? Did you short this morning when Bitcoin had this big dump? Have you put in a long position? I've actually put in one down here. I'll talk about that a little bit later. What are you guys doing with your trades? Really interested to hear what you have to say. We're live streaming a little bit earlier today because I have some things to do later on tonight, and I won't be able to live stream at the typical time. The ladder, Jim. Peace, like deuces. Peace in the neighborhood. Peace teach. That's that kind of peace. Anyway, guys, to dive on into it, I do want to go ahead and do a little bit of technical analysis out the gate, unless you guys have anything that you need to discuss to start with. But I want to show you a trade that I made earlier today, and I'm just kind of on the fence as to whether or not I like it. I just got home, and I was gone during a little bit of an extra pullback, and it looks like Bitcoin actually didn't trigger my stop loss, because my stop was at 10.7, and guys, Bitcoin only decided to go down to 10,740. So I'm very happy about that because my stop loss did not get triggered. We're going to talk about that, but the first thing I want to do is show you the technical analysis that led me into making that decision. As you guys can see here, if we go ahead and get rid of these moving averages and we zoom into the 5-minute chart, we're going to see that yesterday, Bitcoin was in a consolidation pattern right here, something to this effect. I actually had it drawn like this. It's no longer on the chart because it's not in effect anymore, but there was this pattern, and Bitcoin had a little bit of its blood fall that it sees a lot of times overnight, and we did fall all the way down here to $10,740 recently. I was looking for a place to put a long in down here, and I put in a long right about here over on Kraken with 5x leverage, a stop loss at 10.7, liquidation price far below that, of course, and it does look like it's doing pretty well. Guys, so far, I'm up like 0.15%, and I have never been happier in my entire life. You guys know how much of a good feeling it is to have a trade in the green, no matter whether it's profitable or not, or excuse me, whether it's a very large profit or not. If it's in the green, I suppose it's profitable anyway. Someone says buy and hold. Totally, guys. I absolutely agree. Before you start trading, you need to build up that investing portfolio. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the live stream and you are looking forward to the TA that we're going to be doing tonight, make sure you smash those likes. Let's see if we can get that up to 50 real early in the live stream. It really does help out the channel when you guys do that, and it also makes the video and the live stream a lot more visible so more people can tune on in. And also, guys, if you're new here, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Your name will flash up on screen, and I will introduce you to the zombie horde, as someone dubbed us last night, and I will give you a shout out here on stream. And also make sure you smash that notification bell so you'll be updated every time a new video or live stream goes public. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive into why I put in that long position. I'm kind of on the fence about it, which is why I have a really tight stop loss that luckily didn't get triggered. But at the same time, guys, I do think that there is a large enough margin of profit, a low enough risk that I'm willing to put that trade in. So I'll go ahead and show you what I'm looking at here. If we look at on the 4-hourly chart, there are two main moving averages that made me put this trade in. One of them is the 200 exponential moving average right here on the 4-hourly chart. Someone mentioned this EMA last night, and I hadn't done a lot of research on it. I hadn't looked at it very much when they mentioned it. But looking back on yesterday's live stream and throughout today's bout of technical analysis I've been doing, Bitcoin has been following this exponential moving average very closely. You can see what Bitcoin's done down here. It's put in a lot of bottoms. It's come down here and tested this moving average almost perfectly many times in the last couple of months. And right now, guys, Bitcoin is sitting right above it. So I decided I'd go ahead and use this and one more moving average that I'll show you here in just a second as a bottom position and a place that I would use to define where my stop loss is going to be. Some people ask me, Jeb, where should I put my stop losses? Jeb, where should I, what kind of liquidation price should I be looking for? These kind of things. Guys, if you're looking for a place that you want support on, that you want to make a trade around, look for bounces on, you need to look back in the history of the market. You need to look back and see what indicators are important, what indicators have historical precedence, what indicators other people are looking at. Now, while I really like this 200 exponential moving average on the 4-hourly, I don't see a lot of people talking about it, so that's a point in its, that's a point against it. At the same time, there's a lot of historical precedence for it. So look for indicators that have historical precedence and for indicators that have a lot of people following them. Because as we talk about in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and as we talk about here on the channel so much, one of the ways that you find out that a technical indicator is valid and, more importantly, valuable to your trading and your investing is whether or not it has historical precedence and if people are still looking at that technical indicator. An indicator that was important 5 years ago but that no one looks at now is not going to be important because, guys, the market moves based off of people's trades, and if people aren't making trades, especially if they aren't making a trade based off of that technical indicator, then the technical indicator is basically useless. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but moving back to what I was talking about, one of the reasons I put this trade in here was because I have this 200 exponential moving average right here giving us support. And also, if we go ahead and bring up our other moving averages, I've already set it up so that we're only looking at the 104 hourly simple moving average, We're also looking at support right around the zone that's causing. So we're seeing that we're getting support on both of these. This is a really good instance where you can put a trade in. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this is the best position. I'm not really very happy with this position, but at the same time, guys, there's technical reason to believe that Bitcoin may get a bounce here, and at the same time, there's also reason to believe that if Bitcoin goes below these, it's going to go much lower. So what that means is that we can mitigate our risk by having a tight stop loss because we're close to support, and we can also maximize our reward and our potential return on investment because there's a large upside. So with that said, that is why I went ahead and made that trade. It wasn't a very large trade, but definitely one that I wanted to experiment with. With that said, guys, we're going to go ahead and catch up on chat and also give a shout out to someone because we do have a new subscriber. We actually had David Hancock subscribe right before the live stream, started. So welcome to him. And we also just had Arthur Yang subscribe to the channel. So welcome our friend Arthur Yang to the channel. Can we give an F in the chat for him because we know that he is going to be spending the rest of his days watching Crypto Jeb videos and he's going to get sucked into the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency ecosystem, never to be seen again. Anyway, guys, like I said, let's go ahead and catch up on chat. We have Caleb Lauer, who says, hi, Jeb, who is also sitting right next to me. Would you like to say hi, Caleb?
Hello, guys.
So I have a friend of mine with me right now.
I 3D print.
And he's the 3D printing nerd that I told you about. So
I am not the 3D printing nerd on YouTube. I am Caleb Builds 3D.
Okay, he's got to give himself a shout out.
Do not sue me, Joel.
Okay. Jason Vlasic, he says, hi, Jeb, just joined your Discord 2 days ago. Welcome to the Discord, my friend. Hopefully you're having a good time over there. We have a lot of really great people in the Discord. JTest is a big member in the community. We've actually got some conversation over there going on now with Dre. Guys, stream. Hi. I'm telling them to get on the stream. We got Crypto Fail over there and JRAR. JRAR is normally on the stream. Dre, they probably don't realize that the live stream's going on because they probably don't have that notification bell hit. Make sure you guys hit that. We're also getting close to 200 viewers, so guys, if you know anybody who is interested in Bitcoin and in some trades, go and grab them. As I say in all these live streams, guys, grab your kids, grab your wife, grab your dog. Grab that grumpy old next-door neighbor who really doesn't like you but nevertheless is interested in Bitcoin. Grab them and tell them to come watch the live stream, and also make sure you hit those likes.
Jeb grabbed his dog. Jackie's under the desk.
Yeah, she's asleep right now. Hi, Jeb. Can we take a look at Ethereum today? Looks like we may have hit a bottom. We will take a look at Ethereum. I want to start doing some more TA on altcoins while we're doing this. Hey, JRR, you answered the summon. You answered the call to the channel. JRR was having a conversation over in the Discord, and I had to just be like, bro, more pressing matters. I don't know what you're talking about, but come on now. At Crown Crypto Cave is this channel. You guys say a lot that I listened to your tech when you were released. A lot of people say that I'm similar to Crown. I don't really see it. Crown seems like a pretty knowledgeable and smart guy. $10,500 technically is the bottom of the wedge. There is a kind of a wedge going on. There's a few different wedges going on. We might look at that later. Someone did mention mention Ethereum, so I do want to go ahead and look at that. Guys, do you have any altcoins? And I know every time I ask this, people are like, okay, check out these 50 different altcoins. Guys, if you're interested in any of the top 10 altcoins, let's leave it at that. If you're interested in any of the top 10 altcoins, that being one of these, excluding Bitcoin SV, then go ahead and tell me in the chat, and we might go ahead and take a look at that. I do want to do a little bit more altcoin technical analysis in today. Oh, excuse me, I got the burps. In today's live stream, someone did mention Ethereum, and of course that is the same. That is the second largest cryptocurrency. So we'll go ahead and look at that. As you guys know, I've talked about this in a lot of live streams. I've talked about this in a lot of videos, and I think I even mentioned this in the course. It's important that on altcoin charts, you're looking at the right chart. Right now, we're looking at Ethereum over US dollars, but at the same time, guys, you could be looking at Ethereum over Bitcoin, especially on the top 5 cryptocurrencies, those being Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. Especially on those 4 cryptocurrencies, it's important you look at both, because you're going to get trading signals both from the US dollar chart and from the Bitcoin comparative chart. Because like I say, guys, a lot of the price action, a lot of the movement that comes from these markets is because of people seeing patterns and executing on them. And because there are trading pairs for Ethereum over US dollars and Bitfinex coin, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, because of their US dollar trading pairs for those, people are also looking at these charts, which means that there are movements happening based on them. So you need to look at both of them. So with that said, we'll go ahead and look at Ethereum over US dollar, and we'll go ahead and look at the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. As far as the Ethereum over US dollar chart is concerned, I'm quite bullish on it because a lot of people have been pointing out, and this is something I've been watching pretty closely as well, the fact that we do have a very strong level of support here. We have an uptrend, and we have ever since early February. Actually, in fact, Ethereum has been mirroring Bitcoin pretty closely and was rallying in a much similar, very strong way earlier on in the year, but ever since we had the pullback on Bitcoin, Ethereum's just really not taken it very well. Ethereum has not managed to maintain the same kind of rally that Bitcoin has. Ethereum's down 44%. Bitcoin is not even close to that. Bitcoin, guys, from its yearly high to right now is only down 22%. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Bitcoin is the leader in the space, so if there's any interest in the space, it's first going to go into Bitcoin. Then it's going to go into altcoins. And guys, Ethereum, while I do believe it's a very good project, a lot of the times in early bull markets and in early rallies, most of the price action is not coming from the fundamentals, it's coming from hype. And guys, people are hyped about cryptocurrencies, and what do they think of when they think of cryptocurrency? They think Bitcoin, so all their money's going into Bitcoin. That's why traditionally, if you look at the Bitcoin market, especially over the last year or so, Bitcoin dominance has been rallying, but at the same time, altcoin dominance has been going to the downside, as you would expect, since Bitcoin dominance has been rallying. And a lot of that has to do with people hedging their investments and trying to be safer and keep their money where they know, or at least they know with a higher degree of certainty that it's going to be safe, Bitcoin being an example of that. So during the early part of bull markets, we saw this in the last bull market in 2015 and 16, a lot of times you're not going to see if the altcoins are doing very well. That will come, guys. I do think there's going to be an altcoin cycle, but it might not be anytime soon. And people are making grab my dog jokes now. Thank you for that, Caleb. Very, very professional here.
Hey, someone did grab their dog.
That's what they say, yeah. XRP, please, I grabbed my dog. I don't see how those two things are a corollary, Jacqueline. But nevertheless, we will look at XRP here in a second. As far as Ethereum is concerned, though, with that opening monologue out of the way, we need to go ahead and discuss Ethereum itself. Let's go ahead and get rid of these moving averages for a second, because the main thing that piques my interest in Ethereum is this uptrend. Very obviously, I'm sure you guys that have been doing TA and watching this chart for yourselves have noticed this. This uptrend has been in effect for quite some time. We have a lot of levels, a lot of tests of support on it right here, right here. These are definitely in the zone of this level of support, even though it's not perfect. Right down here we have a touch. Right over here we have 3 touches. It's a very strong level of support, and it's one that you would expect Ethereum to bounce bullish off of. Let me tell you why I'm not so happy about that, why I'm not so necessarily convinced that's going to go well. I want to bring your attention to the EOS chart. Maybe we'll look at EOS a little bit later, but I want to show you this uptrend that EOS was on. Because I remember back in the day, back in early 2018, I was looking at the EOS chart here, and you can see all the lines are these disgusting colors back in the day before I started changing the color, and the thickness is wrong. This is really old technical analysis here, guys. But nevertheless, I was looking at this uptrend right here. Let's go ahead and update this to the 21st century, make that a little thicker. I was looking at this uptrend right here, and I was trying to make a trade over here, and lo and behold, what the market did is actually fell below this uptrend of support. And EOS was doing very well. It had a lot of hype as it was coming up to, I think it was EOS 3.0. I don't remember what the release was. There was some kind of release going on. I completely forget what it was. But that happened up here. And EOS has never gone anywhere close to those levels again. We're trading at a fourth of what we were back over there. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that even though you do have a strong cryptocurrency, at the same time, even when you have a strong cryptocurrency, most of the price action is built off of hype when it's an altcoin. When it's with Bitcoin, that's not necessarily true. But what the point I'm trying to make is that EOS had a uptrend right here that just wasn't sustainable, and it broke bearish out of it. So just because we have an uptrend here on Ethereum over US dollars does not necessarily mean that's going to hold. And I also want to show you something else, guys. On the EOS chart, what we saw over here, was that EOS came down here and it kept testing this over and over and over again right up before it broke it. What are we seeing Ethereum do, guys? We're seeing Ethereum test this market, test this level of support several times. Right there, this is kind of a test. Right there, there's a wick come down here, one a couple days ago and one again in the last 12 hours. Ethereum keeps coming down here and testing this level, which, as you guys know, I say this in all of the videos. I talk about this so much. This is in like 2 or 3 videos in the course. I talk about this all the time. It's very important that you understand that when a market comes and tests a level, again and again and again and again and again, if it tests it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, every time that it tests it past 3, it's getting more likely that it's going to break it. There's a reason that it's testing that level over and over again, and the same is true for Ethereum. So even though some of the technical indicators may be looking bullish, check this out. The uptrend is this steep, the downtrend is this steep, and that's not just a recent downtrend. If we look at this, that's a relatively long-term downtrend. We have a touch up here, a touch right here, and a touch right here. There's a decision point coming to Ethereum here in the next couple of days, and I want to see how this plays out, but I'm not necessarily feeling the most bullish on it. I'm not going to be trading this. I shouldn't say that because I probably will, actually, but we'll see how I trade this. I'm not convinced. I'm not sure right now whether or not I want to short this or not, but I'm really not liking the way this is looking. If we look at some of these oscillators, I'm going to tell you right now, before even looking at them, that they probably don't look great. As you can see, we just saw a bearish cross in the MACD. I didn't even know that was there, but guys, like I say, if you've looked at these markets long enough, you get chart vision, you get that gut feeling, you get your instinct built up, and you can kind of tell that kind of thing. Same thing as here. Ethereum's MACD is under the 0 level, which means it should be getting dragged up here to the 0 level, which means that it should be breaking bullish and diverging bullish down here. Instead, what it's doing is it's looking like it's going to have a bearish cross below the 0 level. That is very bearish. That's not looking good for Ethereum. I may actually be shorting this, so I'd be careful about just assuming, oh, well, it's on support, therefore it's going to bounce, because that's not necessarily the way this works. Let's go ahead and catch up on chat here. I think that does service to the Ethereum chart with my opening monologue on Ethereum over. Let's go ahead and catch up, guys. If there's anything you'd like to speak about, if there's anything you'd like me to discuss, make sure to tell me in the chat. But guys, also, let's see if we can moon those likes. We're getting close to 75. I want to see if we can break 75 likes. So guys, if you are enjoying the live stream, if you are enjoying the analysis and the daily analysis too, guys, make sure you hit that like button. I want to see us getting to 75 likes here in the next couple of minutes. I know we can do it, guys. There's nearly 250 of us watching the live stream, and that means that some of you guys aren't pulling your weight. So make sure you do that, or I might have to come over and bake you some cookies if you don't hit those likes. You know, you wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Probably be some terrible cookies. I don't know how to cook. Anyway. TA2 web service. I'm surprised I got your name right the first time. It gets weak. It's gonna dump. Jeb, look at the time. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the way that, and he's talking about time spans also. This is something that I was going to mention earlier, and to cut down on time, funnily enough, I didn't mention it, but look at how close some of these touches are getting. We had a touch here, then we had a touch here. Now we have 2 touches much more recently. The fact that these are getting closer together, that's not a good thing. That's a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of support. That's a sign of weakness. So keep an eye out for that, guys. I'd be very wary about opening longs down here, and if you do, it's not necessarily a bad place to open a long, but make sure you have a tight stop loss, because it'll be pretty obvious when we break bearish out of this, or at least make sure you're watching it, because something like this, guys, this is getting very tight. There's a lot of tension here. I know Ethereum is supposed to have more volatility than this, and there's more in its destiny than like a 2% move, 3, 4, 5% move every single day. Something's got to give here, and we're probably going to see a big move on Ethereum in the next week or two. Let's go ahead and see here. I'm completely blanking on the term I'm looking for. The length, excuse me, on RSI is 14, and we're using close also. Those are the standard settings. Jeb, are you trading or dollar cost averaging? In my trading portfolio, I'm trading right now. As far as dollar cost averaging goes, I'm not dollar cost averaging right now. If you're newer to cryptocurrency, I would highly recommend dollar cost averaging. But you can also, if you really know what you're doing, it's not a terrible thing to try and time the market and buy on the lows. That's not a bad thing to do. In fact, I say it's a pretty good thing to do. I don't dollar cost average because I would rather honestly just put the money in when I feel the most confident in the market and when I feel like I'm getting a good deal. There's a lot of different things that you can do other than dollar cost averaging, but I am also trading right now. Let's see. Light, can I get my cookie now? You may get your cookie, guys. Guys, the cookie thing. You guys are terrified of me coming over and baking you cookies, aren't we? We got all the way up to 91 likes. Well, in that case, I'm going to have to up it to 100 likes or I'll have to come and bake you guys some cookies. Make sure you smash that like button. And guys, also, if you are new to the live stream and if you are new to the server, the Discord server or the channel or anything at all, if you're new to life, if you were just born and you're trying to learn about cryptocurrency, if you were literally born yesterday, make sure you smash that like button. because I come on here and I ramble incoherently about once every day around this time. Anyway, we did have someone subscribe while I was on my Ethereum rant. Nazar Malakan subscribed to the channel about 8 minutes ago. Shout out to you. Apologies I didn't catch that. Hopefully you're still on the stream. If anybody else is subscribed and you didn't get a shout out, make sure you tell me in the chat. And also, guys, one more thing. If you're enjoying the chat here, it keeps going after the live stream's over in the Discord server. There's a link to that at the top of the description. Excuse me, it's not the top of the description. That's the CT2A link. Below that, you're going to find a link to the Discord server. Guys, I have been talking. I have to take a sip of my coffee.
His addiction.
My addiction, guys. If you don't know, I am completely, wholeheartedly addicted to coffee. It's absolutely terrible. Rihanna Keys will go to your house in the night and bake you cookies if you like and subscribe. Wow, guys, if that is not motivation to subscribe to the channel, I don't know what is. I need to hire this guy as my PR manager. This is insane. Oh my gosh, guys, give me a 1 in the chat if I should hire Rihanna Keeves and Caleb as my PR manager. Hi, Marius.
Welcome. Come on, guys, give me money.
Yeah, he wants to be my PR manager, guys. Tell me if I should do it. You can't see excuse me for that. I apologize. I'm trying to get better about that crypto bull coin. I'll go ahead and move that. Not a whole lot going on in there. Ethereum just moving around a little bit. Speaking of Bitcoin, though, I do want to go ahead and look at this. Like I said, guys, I tentatively put in a long position here with a very tight stop loss. I'm not concerned about losing this position because it's very tight. There's not a whole lot of margin for loss here. Like I say in the chat in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, guys. Looks like we're getting a lot of ones in the chat, Caleb. I might have to hire you for that. Anyway, that long position, I'm pretty happy about it because even though there's a pretty high risk I get stopped out, at the same time, guys, if I don't get stopped out, I pretty much caught the bottom. So the risk to reward ratio is very high, which means statistically, if I were to go and make this trade 100 times, more often than not, much more often than not, I would make money. And that's why I made the trade. That's how you want to go about making trades. It's not just about having zero risk. You're always going to have risk, guys. Trading is a form of entrepreneurship. Risk is in the definition of entrepreneurship. You're going to be taking risks when you're making these trades. The idea is to statistically minimize your risk. Minimize the amount of risk you're taking. Maximize the amount of reward you're taking. So if you keep trading over and over and over and over and over again, eventually you're going to come out green. If you can do that and you keep trading and you have the grit to continue, you'll be just fine. By the way, guys, we did just pass 300 viewers, so hello to everybody. Really, really happy to see you guys in the server, in the chat, excuse me. Attempting recovery. Seriously. Yes, I would say we're attempting recovery. I'm not very happy about it right now because this is not a very, this is kind of a half-hearted attempt at the recovery, guys, to be totally honest, which is why I'm very tentative about the position I took. At the same time, guys, like I said, I am comfortable with it. If it gets stopped out, that's okay. I made that decision, and I'm going to stick with it. Jeb's funny when he drinks too much coffee. He talks way faster than normal. You are right. You are very right. Do not mortgage your parents' house to trade. Guys, I had someone in the chat tell me, Arrow Assassin 09. I haven't seen him on a live stream or a premiere recently, but he was watching one of the premieres like 2-3 months ago, and I was talking about people making stupid decisions and taking out loans and stuff and making trades, and he just says in the premiere, "Oh, by the way, I just put my whole life savings into Bitcoin." And I'm like, "You're dumb. You're actually stupid, guy." And he was having fun and joking around, so I wasn't like trying to be mean to him or anything. He knew I was joking. But don't do that. Please don't do that, guys. There are a lot of people that get into some really bad financial situations by doing exactly what he just said, because they will go and they will take out a second mortgage on the house, or they'll sell the house, or they'll sell the car, or they'll take out a personal loan. I saw in the comment section of 2 videos ago, someone said, "Hey, I just took out an $80,000 personal loan to put into Bitcoin." Well, you know what happens if he doesn't know what he's doing, or somehow Bitcoin crashes? I mean, you don't know. Tomorrow, Donald Trump could decide, okay, I'm just going to fire a nuke into China, and the whole world economy collapses, and you could have used that money to, like, buy some food or something. You don't have any idea what's going to happen. That's the dumbest thing you can do, so please don't do that. This is not financial advice, but don't do that. Brian Brown has just subscribed to the channel. Welcome, my friend. If you guys do want to get a shout out, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And let's moon the likes, guys. Let's see if we can get them to 150. Like I said, some of you guys aren't pulling your weight, and Mr. Rihanna Keys will come over to your house and bake you cookies if you hit that like button. Let's catch up on chat here for a second.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. Make sure you subscribe too. And we're going to go ahead and catch up on the chart here after I catch up on chat. The most powerful people in the world, Trump and Mnuchin, had extremely negative comments about Bitcoin. Yes, they did, but I would actually say that that is a very bullish thing, because the fact that they have an opinion on it means that we're making progress, guys. I remember when I first got into the space, there wasn't any way that the president of the United States would have been talking about Bitcoin. There's no way that would have happened. It just simply wouldn't have been a factor. There would not have been that kind of attention from literally the most powerful person on planet Earth. It would not have happened. Nowadays, we do have that kind of thing going on, and that's a very big deal. It's a very big deal that the president is talking about Bitcoin. Even if he's saying bad things about it, guys, you know how polarized America is right now? Because one of the most controversial people on the planet, whether you like him or hate him, he's very controversial, and a lot of people know about him. He's he is the most powerful person on planet Earth. Him having an opinion on it, everybody who hates him is going to be like, okay, Bitcoin's cool. I must go and invest in Bitcoin now. Yeah, I love Bitcoin. And also everybody who does know him, even if they agree with him and they don't like Bitcoin, they're going to be looking into it. It brings attention, so I'm really happy to see that kind of stuff. If we go to 1800, like Fib Ring Boy said, I will sell my house and live in the box, sleeping with my ledger under my makeshift pillow. That is, I refuse to laugh at that, but I do want to. Are there two Jebs there? Yes, there are two of me, J. Rard. I have duplicated myself. That was actually Hubert. You didn't know it, but that was Hubert. How much Bitcoin can be a store of value if it can drop 10% in 5 minutes? Well, gold can drop 10% in like a year also, guys. Gold can drop very quickly. Your house can drop in value. The US dollar can hyperinflate and drop in value. There's no good store of value. This is not Monopoly where you can just have more money and that money is going to be static. If you put 10 grand under your bed, that's going to drop 2% in value every single year, and it's going to be worth basically nothing 100 years from now. Or basically nothing 100 years from now. Best case scenario, literally nothing 100 years from now if the dollar collapses within the next 100 years. So there's no such thing as a perfect investment vehicle. There's no such thing as a perfect store of wealth. So you have to look for what is the best store of wealth. And in my personal opinion, I'd say gold, silver, other precious metals, at least for the next 20 to 30 years before asteroid mining starts taking off, and Bitcoin, digital gold. Those are the futures. That's why people say that, is because just because it's not the US dollar does not mean it's a bad store of value. Mike Johnson said, Crypto Jeb, what position did you take? I took a 5x leverage on Kraken, and I believe the entry was $10,922. I was trying to catch this bottom because, as I showed you guys earlier on in the live stream, and I will show you again, there are a lot of levels of support that we're right above, both of them being moving averages, and if we do have a bounce there, then that means I pretty much caught the bottom. If we don't have a bounce there, guys, because I'm sitting right above levels of support, it's very easy for me to put a tight stop loss and ensure that that is a well-placed stop loss, which mitigates my risk, so I have a very small risk. This is my risk. I'll put RI. This is my risk, very small, and then my reward is very high. So we have a very high RE. That's my reward. What you want to do is that you want to maximize this box while minimizing this box. If you can do that, you're going to be profitable more often than not when you trade. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I could not care less if this trade made money or not, even though I want it to. And I just don't really care for the long term. Of course, I want it to make money, but it's not that big of a deal if it doesn't. And the reason for that is because if I made this trade 100 times, I'm confident that I would come out profitable. So if I just roll double sixes and I get 12 and that's bad, or I roll snake eyes or whatever, if I come up unlucky because I picked one subset out of that subset of 100, one value out of that subset of 100 rolls, that's okay, because if I keep making that roll and I keep making sure that I'm a good trader and I keep doing this over and over and over and over again, guys, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get more trades coming in profitable. So just because this might not be the best trade, if I did this 100 times, it would have been profitable. I'm not saying this is the best trade on planet Earth, and I'm also not telling you to make this trade yourself, but that is the trade that I'm in. Bitcoin proof of work is a failed design, inefficient and slow. I completely disagree. I would say that it is not inefficient and it is not slow. Bitcoin is much faster than just about any other way that you can transact in the world, at least when we're dealing with large sums of money. Transacting internationally, which is something that Bitcoin is very often used for, is far more expensive, far more efficient, and far faster. If you were to buy a very expensive piece of art, for example, and like you need to get $10 million sent across the world, that's going to take days, maybe weeks. It's going to take maybe 1% of that money to a fee. For the banks, Bitcoin, you can transact $100 million in and pay 15 cents in fees in. Just because it has a 10-minute block time and just because it takes maybe 20, 30 minutes for the transaction to go through does not mean it's slow. It does not mean it's inefficient. It's simply, is one of the factors of Bitcoin that, can be optimized with things and layer 2 solutions like the Lightning Network. I have all the burps, guys. I apologize. Well said, makes sense. Long-term tactic will prevail. Thank you, Mike Johnson. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. It is something we talk about in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Guys, starting next week, I am going to be working on the revitalization and the revamping of this course. One of the reasons that I haven't started yet is because I'm thinking about upgrading from the Blue Yeti that I have right now to a Shure SM7B. And before I go and revamp 10 hours of footage and maybe 20 hours of editing on my part, because I'll edit it myself, I want to make sure that the audio quality is perfect. So I'm really considering whether or not I want to buy that Shure SM7B. I want to, but at the same time, guys, that's money that could be going into Bitcoin. So guys, let's catch up on chat. There's so many of you guys talking. Virgo Angel says, this sounds like a really good question. Jeff, how do I sleep without worrying about waking up to a crazy price change? Great question, guys. I'm going to dive into that. I'm really, really excited for that question. How do you go to sleep and not be worried about price changes? How do you not be worried about volatility fluctuations, you losing your position? Guys, I've said this many times before, and I will say it again. I will shout this from the rooftops until you smash that like button. I will tell you guys over and over and over again what you have to do. Guys, I just so happen to have a prop with me. I have $500 in grants sitting on my desk. That money right here, this is money that I can invest into. Got it right here. You can hear it. This is money that I can invest into Bitcoin. The reason that I can invest into Bitcoin is very simple. There's a very simple reason why I can invest this $500 into Bitcoin, and a lot more than that. It's because if I were to take this $500 and go find a lighter, because I don't have any reason to have a lighter, so I don't have a lighter in my house. I have to go find one. If I go and find a lighter, and I take this money, and I douse it in gasoline, and I set it on fire, and I burn it to a crisp, nothing will change with my financial status. Nothing will change my financial situation. There'll be $500 less in my net worth. I don't care. Doesn't change a single thing about what kind of groceries I'm able to buy. Doesn't change what kind of car I'm able to drive. Doesn't change where I'm able to live. Doesn't change what I'm able to buy. It doesn't change a thing about my lifestyle. All it means is that I have $500 less that I can either spend on with something or that I can invest. Doesn't change a thing. So therefore, that $500 is money that I can put into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, if you're feeling a lot more risky and you're really the entrepreneurial type, then you can put more than you're able to lose into cryptocurrency. I would tell you not to do that. If you're going to ask my advice, that's what I would say. But if you want to feel safe about the market and you don't want to go to sleep worrying about it, think about it like this. When you do a wire transfer onto Kraken, the way that I buy Bitcoin, or you buy Bitcoin with your card on Coinbase, or however you get your Bitcoin, pretend that as soon as you hit transact, or as soon as you tell your banker to send the wire through, however you do that, as soon as you make that transaction, pretend in your mind that you just took that money out in cash, you wrote a check to the recipient of cash, you took that money out in cash, and you set it on fire. That money will never be seen again. As soon as you put it into cryptocurrency, it's gone into a black hole, and you're never going to see it again. That's the way that you pretend. So what you do is you accept that loss, and you front load it. Instead of worrying about you losing your money down the line, you front load that loss. You pretend that you already lost the money, and then now we're just playing with internet money, and we're just playing with pretend money. Would you ever be terrified about losing Monopoly money? No. You just go on Amazon and say, hey, I need $15,000 in Monopoly money because I lost some. Would you be scared of losing Monopoly money? No. It's the same thing for cryptocurrency. If you can adopt this really weird tactic that I don't hear anyone talking about, this is my idea. If you can adopt this and understand that as soon as you put money into cryptocurrency, it's all gone. If you can understand that, if you can adopt that, you'll never be worried about Bitcoin again. I adopted that mindset. I guess I got lucky. I don't know what happened, but I adopted that mindset as soon as I entered the cryptocurrency space. I don't know where I got the idea from, but that's the way I've been operating basically since day one. If I lose money in cryptocurrency, I don't care. I mean, I don't want to lose money. I'm not just going to go send it to some address that I'm not familiar. I'm not just going to delete it. But at the same time, guys, if I lose the money, it doesn't change anything about my life. It changes something about my future life, but it doesn't change anything about my current life, and it doesn't change necessarily anything about my future life because you don't know what that investment's going to do. So what you need to do is you need to front load that loss and accept that it will be lost and accept that it might be lost, and then you're not going to worry as much. Now, it's a weird mindset. You got to kind of get into it. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but I hope that does help. That's my advice since you asked for it. The Bitcoin hype is over. I completely disagree. I think the Bitcoin hype is just getting started. For the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, maybe even the next couple of months, you may be right. There isn't a whole lot of hype in the market right now, and we are trading sideways. Not really happy about that. Same time, guys, I'm here for the long term. As I've told you guys, I've never sold a penny of Satoshi, I've never sold a Satoshi of Bitcoin back into my bank account. I've never done it. I've sold Bitcoin into US dollars so that I can trade with it, of course, to have something that I can do with that. But I've never sold cryptocurrency. I don't plan to anytime soon, so I could not care less. The only reason that I care what the market does actually is not for my investments. It's for the health of this YouTube channel and for the health of Bitcoin and the blockchain ecosystem. It has nothing to do with my investments. Think of it as Mickey Mouse money, but take the profits when you're happy. And that's another thing, is that if you adopt the mindset that I just talked about, when you take profits, it's like you're printing money out of thin air because you already pretended that that money was deleted. It's like going to the bank and cashing in Monopoly money and then getting that money added to your bank account. How crazy is that? Think about that day in the future when that happens. You're going to be so very happy. That's really cool. Agree with Jeb, Bitcoin hype is just getting started. Guys, I completely agree. I think there's a lot of room to grow here in the market, and I also think that there's a lot of room for you to smash that like button. You guys thought I was going to say something really funny or really intuitive or whatever else, but actually, I just told you to hit that like button. Guys, we're getting close to 150. We have 355 viewers in the house right now, which means that some of you guys, like I said earlier, are not pulling your weight. Guys, if you want Rihanna Keeves to come over to your house and cook you cookies, make you cookies, you're going to have to hit that like button, guys. If you're enjoying the live stream, if you're getting value, tell me in the chat and do a couple more things. Smash that like button, and if you want to see more content like this coming out every single day in the form of videos and of live streams, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be updated every time those videos go out. Hello, Emery. Welcome to this live stream. You're a big person in the Discord server. If you guys aren't in the Discord server, Emery, I believe I've asked you before. I think I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Emery is our meme dealer because he's got the freshest memes over in the meme competition channel. See him posting over there all the time. I'll go ahead and bring up one of his finest. This is Bitcoin as it stands right now. Bitcoin is trying, and it is very much failing. But nevertheless, that's okay. Emery has also some high-quality memes, such as, let's see, that's JK, our other meme dealer. Let's see. I know you got some good ones. Let's see. I'm trying to find which ones are YouTuber friendly. Well, there we go. See? Nobody cares. Perfect. Guys, if you want to get some recognition, also join that Discord server. And also, let me not bring up my desktop. Caleb says, Jeb, your car's not in a ditch. Caleb's taking my car for a second, so hopefully he's not going to crash my car. Can you move the chat log to the left? I will go ahead and move the chart. I apologize for that. Let's go ahead and move that and zoom in as well. Thank you for reminding me of that, guys. I'm trying to get better on that. What is the highest you think Bitcoin will be? I think that in the future... hi, Frank Tran, by the way. You messaged me on... you emailed me recently. I think the highest that Bitcoin will probably go to is over $1 million. I've talked about why in the past, but at the same time, I can go ahead and mention it again. The reason why I think Bitcoin will be over $1 million would have to do with Bitcoin... Let me go ahead and get a chart up here. It's from visualcapital.com. Visualcapitalist.com. This right here, this website that I'm about to show you, I've made videos on in the past. I made 2 videos on this, actually. Really shows you why Bitcoin is going to become as big as people say it is. Right now, Bitcoin is worth $200 billion. That sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. Let me show you why. As we can see right here, Bitcoin's only going to be worth about $200 billion. If I can get the cryptocurrency list to show up, let me just click the tab up here. There we go. And I'm also going to switch over to our full screen so we can see this properly. If we look over here, Bitcoin is worth just under $200 billion. And that sounds like a lot of money, does it not? I know if I had $200 billion, there would be some crazy things that I would be doing. Bitcoin's worth 200 bill. A cool 200 bill. Let's go ahead and look over here. This is saying Bitcoin's worth 100 billion because this is an older chart. This was going on back in the 2017 bull market. Let's just pretend Bitcoin is this dot right here. Just say it's 2 to represent this visually. Each one of these squares is $100 billion. Let's go ahead and look at the worth, the net value, the value of different things in the world. Let's go ahead and see here real quick. Is there something going on? Yeah, I am unfortunately going to have to put you in timeout, my friend. Anyway, by the way, some people that have been in the server for quite some time, some names that I'm going to recognize, tell me if you want to be an admin or a moderator in the chat, and I will give you that privilege so that you guys can help me while I'm talking, not able to look at the chat. Anyway, what I was saying is that Bitcoin is worth about $200 billion, right? That's nothing. That sounds like a lot of money. Let me just put this out there. That is nothing. It's pittance. It's literally nothing. Cryptocurrency is so far in its infant stage that it's not even funny. Guys, Bitcoin is still making 420 jokes. Look at this. It's ridiculous. We're so immature. Bitcoin is still worth $200 billion. Can you believe that? You gotta shift the framing, shift your perspective on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and realize, no, $200 billion isn't a ridiculous amount of money. It's a ridiculously small amount of money. And I will go ahead and give Mike Johnson, you've been here for a while, so I'll go ahead and make you a moderator. And Emery, also, if you don't mind, I'm going to make you a moderator. You don't have to use that, but now you have the power. I will take that from you if you guys start acting up, but I don't think you will. I do recognize you guys. You've been here for a while. Point I'm trying to make is that you need to take that standpoint, that stance from saying, oh, Bitcoin's worth $200 billion. Wow, that's a lot of money, to saying Bitcoin's only worth $200 billion. Really? That's the perspective you need to have, because that's the perspective that a lot of these other companies that are investing in it have, and that's the perspective that the market has on it. Cryptocurrency hasn't even gotten started yet. Let me show you that. These are the size of companies. Alphabet's worth $600, $700, $800 billion, whatever, depending on the day. You know, that moves around a lot. Apple, these companies move around quite a bit. Point is, they're worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Cryptocurrency in itself is worth a quarter of some of these larger companies. I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about everything. All of cryptocurrency is worth less than $300 billion. There are at least over 10 companies in the world that are worth more than that. That's ridiculous. The 50 richest people all combined are worth this much visualized. This is California's GDP. This is the Fed's balance sheet. This is well into the trillions. All of world currency. These are banknotes. This is, I mean, you'd think this might be the max if you don't know a whole lot about economics. This is what's called M1 and M2, or at least M1. I'm not exactly sure which one they're calling for here. This is at least M1. Down here we have all of the gold. Then we get to something that is absolutely mind-blowing. Stock markets. Does this look large to you? Let me ask you something. Does this look big to you? Because one of these squares, excuse me, two of these squares represent all of cryptocurrency. This is just global stock markets. If Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies can encapsulate 10% of global stock markets, 20%, 30%, 50%, if we can do that in the next 20, 30 years, we're looking at trillions of dollars in market capitalization. Trillions. Not hundreds of billions. Trillions. Tens of trillions. That would drive Bitcoin's price to the moon and to the stars, guys. We wouldn't be saying the moon anymore. We'd be saying the stars. Here's the global money supply, and this is very different from what we were talking about up here. This is currency. These are banknotes. This is what is normally referred to, if I'm remembering my economics correctly, M1. Down here we're looking at M2 and M3. Like I said, if I'm remembering that correctly, feel free to fact check me on that. Point is that this is the amount of money in the world. And then we start looking at debt. Guys, look at how big this is. This is just ridiculous. There's $200 trillion worth of debt growing every single year. Moving on, look at global real estate. You think stock markets are big? Stock markets are actually pretty small compared to real estate. Residential real estate is worth hundreds of trillions of dollars. Moving on, derivatives. Derivatives, depending on how large they are, because it's so big we can't really tell, could be worth over $1 quadrillion. That might not even be a number that you know the name of. Guys, this is ridiculous how large these are. And we're talking about $200 billion being a lot. Let me just check this out. This is Bitcoin. You see what I'm trying to get to, right? We haven't even gotten started yet. This is just the very beginning. There's so much more to come. You guys wonder why I could not care less. Why I could not care less if Bitcoin has a crash right now. You wonder why I could not care less if I get stopped out here in the next half an hour. I don't care. I flat out do not care. The reason for that is because I know that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are going to do big things in the world. They're going to have a very big impact on global finance. They're going to have a very big impact on global markets. They're going to have a big impact on the economy, on stock markets, on politics, on developing nations and developed nations. There's a lot of room to grow in cryptocurrencies. We haven't even gotten started yet. So when people are talking about $1 million Bitcoin, this is why they're talking about it. Add 2 zeros to this, and you have to add 2 zeros to this. It's very easy to see why Bitcoin could go to $100,000, $200,000, $400,000, $500,000, $750,000, $1 million per coin. And we're only trading at $10,000. You got to shift your frame to the frame of the market 20 years from now. Because let me also bring something up. This is the value of these companies now. Keep that in mind. This is the value of these companies as it sits now. This is the value of global debt and derivatives and real estate markets as it sits now. Bitcoin's got another 10, 20, maybe 30 years before it reaches its all-time high, its actual all-time high, before it starts to peak out and reach maximum market penetration. We've got a lot of room to grow, which means there's going to be a lot more money in the world come that time. There's a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of things happening. Virgo Angel says, Jeb, thank you for answering my question. Really helpful. No problem. We care because we're going to lose all of our Bitcoin now. How? 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 How are you going to lose your Bitcoin? I really want to know, because you don't lose Bitcoin unless you sell it or unless you get hacked. But if you're careful with your with where you hold your Bitcoin, and you're also careful about not selling it at the wrong time, how are you going to lose your Bitcoin? You're not going to. Hodl it. If you're not confident enough in your trading ability, then don't trade. There's nothing saying you have to trade, guys. There's nothing. If all you are comfortable doing is hodling and investing, good. You'll do just fine. Jeff, what year do you think it'll hit $1 million? That's literally impossible to put a number on. But as far as what I'll do is I'll give you one a little less better, and I'll give you a decade. It's probably going to happen in the 2030s. I think it'll take at least 10 years, 2030s, maybe in 2040s. Like Mike Johnson says, some say 2026 based on the stock-to-flow ratio. The stock-to-flow ratio is something I haven't talked about on the channel a whole lot, but it is something you need to be familiar with. I can try and bring a graphic of that up real quick to explain the stock-to-flow ratio. Let me see if I can find something on my second screen over here to talk about that. Guys, essentially what the stock-to-flow ratio is it talks about how much of a certain commodity, like Bitcoin or gold is one thing that's often used for. The stock-to-flow ratio is a relationship. It's a ratio between how much of that commodity is in the economy, how much of it's in the market, and how much of it is being produced. So the stock-to-flow ratio on Bitcoin continues to increase as the circulating supply continues to grow slower. And because we have halvings, and because the amount of Bitcoin being added to the ecosystem slows down, that means that the circulating supply of Bitcoin is going up, but the flow ratio, the amount of Bitcoin being added goes down. And when you have a very high stock-to-flow ratio, typically that drives prices very, very high. And that's a factor that has led to a lot of growth in Bitcoin. That's one of the reasons people are so interested in halvings, is because of the effect it has on the stock-to-flow ratio. Jeb is only a human, not a god. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I remember in college, I had a friend named Steven. I tried to convince him. That I was a god. I did. I kept like talking to him. I was like, Steven, buddy, if you'll just believe, I'll show you a miracle. He didn't believe me, guys. I don't know why he didn't believe me. I was going to show him a miracle. He didn't do it. Anyway, S2F stock-to-flow is interesting, but only valid if there's a genuine demand. If there's no demand, then stock-to-flow ratio is irrelevant. I completely agree with you. It could not matter less what it could not matter less what Bitcoin is doing. It could not matter less how much Bitcoin there is or the flow ratio. It could not matter in the slightest if we don't have interest in the space, which is why that's so important. We also did just have someone subscribe to the channel. Mr. Martin Morgan has subscribed to the channel, guys. We've got nearly 400 of you fellas in the chat, but we haven't had a whole lot of subscribers recently, so if you are new to the channel, or if you've been watching for a little while and you've been considering hitting that little red button, make sure you smash that subscribe button, guys. I'm very interested to see your pretty face here during the next live stream, and the next, and the next, and the next, and I also would love for you to see the daily videos, guys. We upload videos every single day. Wouldn't want you to miss any of them. Make sure you smash the likes, make sure you smash the subscribe button, and after you're done doing that, make sure you smash that notification bell as well, so you can join the notification squad, guys. Someone asked, think anything will ever replace Bitcoin? Completely, no. I don't have any reason to believe that that's going to happen. But at the same time, I can't rule it out. You never know what's going to happen. Bitcoin is well on its way to replacing the US dollar, so I can't say that nothing's going to replace Bitcoin, because even though Bitcoin is a great technology, there might be a better one in the future. I can't say for a fact that that's not going to happen, but for right now, I don't see a reason why it would. I don't see a reason why it would happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't see anything on the horizon that would cause Bitcoin to be replaced by anything. I don't think there's a single cryptocurrency in this market that has the advantages that Bitcoin has. Namely, it was the first cryptocurrency built on blockchain. All of these other cryptocurrencies can have faster block times. They can be less. They can have less transactions. They can be more efficient. I don't care. They weren't the first. Bitcoin will always be number one for that reason, unless a massive shift in technology happens. And also, guys, you got to remember, even though Bitcoin is very hard to update, it can be updated. So a lot of the things that are going to need to be updated on Bitcoin will be updated. Layer 2 solutions like Lightning Network will come on, speed up payments, lower transaction fees. There are things that can be done to better Bitcoin and make it into the global currency that it was once envisioned as, and that we still hope it will become. So just because there are certain drawbacks to Bitcoin, like having to wait half an hour or so for the transaction to be confirmed, that doesn't mean that those things can't be resolved with Layer 2 solutions, like I said, with Lightning Network. We did just have a new subscriber, by the way. Tech Lords with a Z has subscribed to the channel. Want to give you a shout out because we've had a lot of people subscribe recently. I'd like to see more of you guys come on and join us. But guys, if you are enjoying the live stream, let's see if we can get all the way up to 200 likes. I'd be really interested to see if we could do that. Let's go ahead and check something out. I want to catch up on chat. Mike Johnson says, half of you are still debating smashing that like button. Smash the like if you gain value watching. Completely agree with our friend Mike Johnson. Thank you for keeping the chat in order over there. Don Johnson brings up a very, very good point. He says A&W is God, not Jeb. My friend, I don't know how many cans of A&W in this house. I'm going to have to agree with you there. Even though it's going against my morals and my ethics of always tooting my own horn at every opportunity I get, I'm going to have to agree with you. Going to have to agree with you. What would the lowest low we will see now? Good question. We'll go ahead and dive into that. Bitcoin is moving down a little bit. The lowest low that I think we would see, I'm not really going to answer that in the way you asked the question. I'm going to answer it a little bit differently. For right now, Bitcoin is looking to put a low in close to where we are right now. That's the VPVR, not the 20 EMA. Right now, Bitcoin's looking to put a bottom in here. If it doesn't and it breaks bearish, then it's going to go quite a bit further. There are several levels of support showing that Bitcoin may want to get support here. Right now, we're between two of them, actually. If Bitcoin breaks below this, we're probably going, frankly, quite a bit lower. I'll show you where some of the levels of support below this are. A few of them have to do with VPVR levels. We have a very major VPVR level at 10.6. That's one that I am taking very seriously. I want to see that. Bitcoin try and put a bottom in there. If Bitcoin falls, 10.6 is probably going to be there. Someone said something that distracted me. 10.6 is a level that I'm looking at. There are a few other levels I'm looking at. If we look out on the daily chart and we look at our 20 exponential moving average, then we're going to go ahead and bring this back. Our 20 EMA, we're also, actually, excuse me, not the 20 EMA on the daily chart. The 20 EMA on the weekly chart is one that I'm looking at as well. That's sitting down here close to $9,000. If we break below 10.6, we're probably going straight to $9,000 after a short pit stop at 10. I'll be honest with you, we're probably going to get a lot of support at $10,000. But at the same time, guys, these big evens can be broken very quickly. A lot of times it's moving averages or VPVR levels or RSI being oversold or overbought that cause a bounce to happen. So if we're looking for a bottom, I'm going to say that it's probably going to be somewhere around $9,000 with this moving average and also with our technical analysis showing that that is a recent low. If we bring this up and we get rid of VPVR because it's messing with the chart, if we bring up our bottoms here, then we're going to see that Bitcoin has recently had bottoms down here. I don't want to see Bitcoin setting new lower lows. I really don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. So we'll see what happens. That's where I'm looking for a bottom at 9,000. If we start breaking support again, we're probably going all the way down there, guys. We are under a downtrend right now. I want to bring this up also. On the hourly chart right here, we have this downtrend that Bitcoin has not gotten above. In fact, we haven't even gone up to test it recently. I want to see Bitcoin, if it does fall, come down here and bounce here. If we go lower than that, that puts us into danger territory. That puts us in the danger zone, as it were. Let me go ahead and check something real quick. Let me go ahead and check something. Paul says, thanks, Jeb, for answering my question. No problem. I didn't realize I answered your question. Let's see here. Guys, we're getting close to 400 viewers. Really happy about that. If you are enjoying the live stream, make sure you smash that subscribe button, guys. We do daily cryptocurrency technical analysis and daily live streams. If you want access to those, you're going to have to hit that subscribe button so you know when they're going on. I'm really interested in seeing your pretty face over here every single day so that I can converse with you guys about what you think is going on in the market. I want to get your opinion. That's one of the main reasons I started this channel, was to actually get your attention. It's much easier for me to feel the pulse of cryptocurrency when I have you guys sitting here telling me what you think. This data is very valuable to me, and I really enjoy having this going on, so I really love having you guys here in the chat. Very much enjoying that. Let's see. Let me go ahead and take a sip of my coffee. Bitcoin Cash literally being propped up by Roger Ver, no joke. Yeah, I remember when I was getting into the cryptocurrency space, Roger Ver was referred to as Bitcoin Jesus. If any of you guys are old enough to remember Bitcoin Jesus, give me a 1 in the chat. Because I remember back when I got into the space, that dude was loved. I mean, he was controversial, but a lot of people loved that guy. By the way, we did just have a new subscriber. BlueRum618 has subscribed to the channel. By the way, if you subscribe to the channel and your name doesn't pop up on screen, I do apologize. Tell me in the chat. I'll give you a shout out over there. And if I do forget to give one, moderators in the chat, please remind me to, because it means I didn't see it. It is cold coffee, Michael L. It's actually a Frappuccino, because I've got to release my inner white girl. But the point I was making is that Roger Ver was revered in the, pun very much intended, by the way, was revered in the cryptocurrency space. People love that guy. Like I said, he was very controversial, but people did like him. I remember watching, one of the first things I ever watched about cryptocurrency was a documentary on Roger Ver. And he was, I think he was in Hong Kong, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? J-Rod, I'll make you a mod also. You've been around here for a long time. I remember when this guy was loved, and then like a month after I joined the space, the hard fork happened, and he went from Bitcoin Jesus to Bitcoin. People hated him. That's the point I'm trying to make. People hated him. I was trying to make a AJ Productions put $2 in the chat and said 1. Guys, thank you very much. Or AJ Productions, thank you very much for the donation. I do really appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying the live stream, to do what he just did, and to get a shout out, if there's any question that you really want me to answer that you don't want to get drowned out, give me a, you can go ahead and hit that donation down there, that donation link, the little $sign in the square. And Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's finding support on the 300 MA on the 4 hour. Guys, I mean, there is a moving average for everything. Keep that in mind. But Bitcoin Judas, thank you. That's the name I was trying to think of. We went from Bitcoin Jesus to Bitcoin Judas. I was trying to be all slick and everything, guys, and I completely failed. Thank you, Tech Lords, and welcome to the channel once again, by the way. All About It said, I subbed and it did not pop up. Oh, well, all good. I'm not here for the accolades. Welcome to the channel. You're getting accolades anyway. Apologies for that. Excuse me. Doesn't always go through. Hello from Venezuela, says CS. Hello from the States, and hello from all over the planet with everybody in the channel. If you wouldn't mind, tell us what's going on in Venezuela. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but if you do, I'd be interested to hear what's going on down there, if we can get an insider take on that. Like I said, if it's not something you want to talk about, I completely understand. But I'd be interested to see if there's any opinions on the matter going down there that you'd be interested in vocalizing. Let's see here. Goldbug, digital dollar, and high-speed stock market trading creator is Satoshi. Satoshi Nakamoto is definitely a creator of something revolutionary. Let's go ahead and zoom in back here down to the shorter term time frames, because Bitcoin is having a little bit of a bounce being put into motion here, guys. Really having fun tonight, guys. I love sitting here and conversating with you. I want to be able to keep doing this, and the way that I can keep doing this is by you guys subscribing to the channel and you guys hitting those likes to let me know that you're enjoying this and let me know that this is something that you guys want. So if you want to continue supporting these live streams, there's several different ways you can do that. You can hit the like button, the subscribe button, notification button, and if you also want to, you can smash. I was gonna say you can smash a button, but actually I was gonna say you can hit that donation button. If there's anything you want me to, to discuss. Socialism is going on in Venezuela, enough said. 204 likes, definitely getting a cookie. Yes, Rihanna Keeves will give you a cookie. I'm going to tell Rihanna Keeves to come over there and tell you what's up. I was talking to my father about Keanu Reeves once, and he pronounced his name Keanu Reeves, and I laughed so hard. Guys, I was at a friend's house on Sunday, and I walked in there, and in Florida, there are these little lizards. They're called anoles, and I've been catching these things for over a decade. I mean, I have caught so many of those, and you don't hurt them when you catch them. You just kind of catch them, and you give them PTSD because this thing that's a billion times larger than them just picked them up. But I walked into my friend's house with it, and I was showing it to everyone, and I hear over my shoulder, I just hear a friend of mine, and he's just like, Jeb doesn't know it yet, but he's going to catch a lizard mono. And I just died laughing, guys. That was so funny. And I just saw the chart. I'm moving that, by the way. Goodness, that was funny. He might be watching the live stream, actually. Shout out to you if you're doing that. I'm not going to say your name. we all should stop to look bullish. Guys, I do feel like Bitcoin is looking relatively bullish, at least for the next year or two. What's going to happen here over these next couple of months is anyone's guess. Chad is covering the live price action. Right when you said that, I moved it. Mike Johnson gave us a really good reminder. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. Hit that bell and hang back and chill with the fam. Guys, I'm enjoying this. You deserve a donation because it took years to learn this analysis. I'm a mechanic. I don't give my diagnosis for free because it took me years to learn it. Yeah, Michael L., that's one thing that I saw a meme about that on Facebook, and it's totally right. It said someone's complaining about mechanics not doing it for free, and it was just a picture of all of your tools and like the $10,000 worth of tools you have and all the training you had to go through. There's a reason why doctors make $150,000 a year or whatever they make, depending on exactly their profession. It's because of how long it took them to make that. There's a supply and demand behind everything. And the next says, Crypto Jeb, you're going to show yourself? I'm thinking about when I want to do it. I'm thinking about when. Jason said, I live in Daytona Beach. As a kid, we used to let them bite and hang from our ears. Well, guys, I'm a kid at heart, so I still do that. I was doing that on Sunday when I was talking about that. I did that, and some people... I remember one time, guys, story time. I was on the bus in middle school. I lived in Florida for a very long time. I was on the bus in middle school. I was sitting next to these two girls who were very... you know how girls, a lot of times they didn't really like bugs or whatever. I had this anole with me, and I was showing it to them, and they're like, oh, God, oh, no, don't, I don't want to see it. They're like freaking out. I just threw it on them. And they got so freaked out. I'm pretty sure I got, like, a referral or something for that. That was really funny. We did just have a couple more people subscribe. BlueRum618, I think I gave you a shout-out already. Welcome to the channel. And Parth Bogasara. I think I got that right. Welcome to the channel, my friend. If you guys are enjoying, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. MT Corner calling me out said Jeb is a gray. That's why he can't show himself. Aliens got work to do. Yeah, I got a lot of preparation coming up before September 20th, guys. I can't let them figure out the secrets. The U.S. government, I'm not convinced, is going to be able to keep them. Jeb, show us yourself when Bitcoin passes 20K US dollars. I'm trying to think of like a subscriber goal or something for when I want to do it. Master Bash says, yo, 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 Jeb. Yo, 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 mister. Chris, great idea. I might do that. I could see myself doing that. We'll see. Honestly, what the hell is your accent? I was born in Tennessee and I grew up in Florida. That's my accent. Born in Tennessee, lived there for a few years, like I was 5, 6, 7, something like that. And then I lived in Florida. I remember I've been asked so many times. My accent used to be a lot thicker, you know. And people used to ask me, Tennessee or Texas? They just walk up. They'd like hear the conversation. They'd walk up and they'd be like, Tennessee or Texas? And I'd say Tennessee. And they're like, I knew it. We just had another subscriber, by the way, Mr. Michael Barron. Welcome to the channel, guys. If you want a shout out and you want to be notified every time a new video goes live, make sure you smash that subscribe button and the notification bell, guys. And if you're joining the Hangout live stream today, we're going to be doing some more technical analysis here in a second. Just want to see if anything crazy happens. Make sure you hit that like button. Empty Corner, what I should do is just turn around and have like a hoodie on, and it's like a ghost mask on or something. Price predictions over the next 2 to 3 hours, just curious. That's really going to depend on what we do over the next, like, 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to be honest with you. This can go either way. There's a lot of volatility I have a feeling is about to come, which is one of the reasons why I want to do the live stream a little early, but also because I have a prior commitment at 7 o'clock, so I won't be able to go to that if I live stream at the normal time. The next says, check out the Discord, guys. If you haven't already, I'm a part of most of them, but Jeb's is the most beneficial. Thank you so much, man. I'm really happy that you think that. You've been a subscriber and a member of the Discord for a very long time. Glad you're getting value out of it. We have a great community over there. If you're interested, there is a link in the description down below. How did the guy lose $10,000 on Bitfinex? I'm not sure. I'm still not sure, but Jeb, I'm British, and even I got your accent down to 4 possible states. Well, good job. Because I totally couldn't do that for British accents. I don't know what happened. He was talking about being like a glitch or something. I think he just got stopped out. Or he either got stopped out or he got liquidated. He probably got liquidated. Let's see. Anyway, let's see. What do we want to talk about here? There's a lot of things to discuss. Let's see. Which one do we want to pick? Not totally sure. I'll be right back, guys. Actually, give me like 2 minutes. I will be right back. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Mike Johnson said Jeopardy music, so I had to go ahead and do that. They bought the dip-ish. It was planned. Let's go ahead and see here, guys. I don't want to zoom out too much because it does look like Bitcoin may be about to do something crazy. And no, I had to send a text message for people who are making or were getting confused about what I was doing. Baby Angela says hello to everyone. Hello, Baby Angela. Guys, like I said, if you are enjoying the live stream and you are enjoying the content that we're doing here, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Make sure you smash that notification bell, guys. I am interested to hear what you guys would like to see me talk about. Would you like to see me talk about price targets for the end of the year? Would you like to see me talk about some shorter-term technical analysis? I'm interested to hear your take on that. Who's the other Jeb in there? I have a couple of friends over right now. They're hanging on outside so that we can have our piece here, guys. We're going to be wrapping up the live stream probably about half an hour or so. CT says Orlando here. I'm not very far from Orlando. If you guys go back through all of the live streams and piece together all the things I say, you could probably triangulate my position to like a 20 square mile region, but I'm going to not give you any more ideas on that. So I'm just going to keep it that way. All Wayne TV says, shout out to me. I gave you a shout out simply because that rhymed. Anyway, short-term TA. Yeah, let's do some short-term TA. Where do we think Bitcoin's going over the next couple of minutes? I said short-term TA, and I zoomed out to the daily chart because that's where we're going to do our short-term TA, guys. Guys, I'm going to start with this. If this is all you watch of the short-term technical analysis, here's what I'm going to say. I'm not feeling great on this market right now. I'm really not. You know, I've been indecisive recently about what I feel like Bitcoin's going to do. There have been different emotions in my head. There have been different pieces of technical analysis floating around in my brain. I'll be real honest with you. I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling great for the next week or so. And the reason for that is multifaceted. If we zoom in here to the hourly chart, what we're going to see is that Bitcoin has been trying to break this downtrend of resistance here for quite some time. For the last week or so, in fact, Bitcoin continued to test it. At first, that seemed like it was a good thing because Bitcoin kept testing that level of resistance. It seemed like it was going to have a rally. That's what seemed like it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Bitcoin not only didn't do that, we started testing above this downtrend, and now we were testing below the downtrend. Now we're testing even lower. Guys, we were in an uptrend. You don't necessarily want to bet against the trend, as someone just said. At the same time, guys, the trend right now is down. The trend right now is down. The shorter-term trend over the last week is down. This is a downtrend. You don't bet against the trend. The trend is your friend until the trend ends. That's the way that goes. And the reason that people say that is because, well, the analogy that I like to use a lot, guys, is the court of law. In the court of law, if you are innocent until proven guilty, or you're guilty until proven innocent in some countries, but hopefully you live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. There's a reason for that. Jason Vlosok also just donated $10. Thank you so much for the donation, man. He says, thanks for the hard work, Jeb. Keep up the awesome live streams. Guys, I am enjoying these a whole lot, and I don't plan on stopping them anytime soon. I made a commitment to myself that we're going to do 6 live streams a week until the end of the year, and I'm going to try so hard to do that. I'm not going to stop. I don't care how painful it is on some days, because some days I'd rather be out with friends or something. I'm doing it. That is the plan. I don't plan on stopping. We'll get into some like motivation entrepreneurial stuff later on in the video, but I want to do some short-term TA here. Like I was saying, we've had these highs up here that were above our downtrend. Our highs down here are below the downtrend. Right now, we just tried to put a bounce in, and we couldn't even make it 4 or 5 hours without having a new downtrend that's been forming during the duration of this live stream. Bitcoin's pickup, as we were talking about earlier today, has been absolutely pathetic. This right here, this is pathetic. Guys, what is this? This is ugly. That's what that is. That is ugly. It is ugly. Bitcoin was not rallying very quickly at all. Not happy about that in the slightest. And in fact, Bitcoin decided, no, actually, you know what? We're not going to rally to the upside. We're actually going to have a downtrend here over these last couple of minutes, over the last hour or so. So guys, I'm not feeling very bullish on this market, especially as I've continued doing more technical analysis. We've been sitting here. I've gotten less and less bullish. And in fact, I may take a break here in a second to go ahead and close my long position early, because I do have a feeling now that Bitcoin has had this little downtrend in the last hour since we started live streaming that my stop loss is probably going to get triggered. And guys, that's okay, because that was a risk I was willing to take. Like I say, guys, if you lose a little bit of money every once in a while, that's fine. That's going to happen. FTB says, how low do you think Bitcoin will go before the big bull run? I think the big bull run depends on if Bitcoin bounces at $9,000. $9,000 is the floor. If we go below 9,000, all bets are off. I am not bullish for the rest of the year. For right now, I am looking to see what happens. I want to see Bitcoin bounce. I want to see Bitcoin have a rally, but right now, Bitcoin is not looking bearish. We're in a downtrend. Like I was saying earlier, Bitcoin is in a downtrend. and you don't bet against the trend. The analogy that I use is innocent until proven guilty. Are you innocent or not? The court of law assumes that you're innocent because they don't want to wrongfully incriminate someone who's not, because that would be an unjust system. This is literally called the justice system. It's not called the fairness system. It's called the justice system. It's the same thing in cryptocurrency. You have to assume that the market is going to be whatever it has already been until you are proven otherwise. You have to assume that the market's going to be bullish until you're proven bearish, or bearish until you're proven bullish. And if you do that, you're going to make a lot less counter trades, and you're going to make a lot less bad trades, for lack of a better term. If you don't assume that the trend is going to change all the time and wait for the trend to change, and then you get confirmation of that through multiple different technical indicators, and then you start making your trades, you're going to be fine. That's what you need to be careful for, though. You have to wait for that confirmation. Do you think Bitcoin will ever go under $10,000 again? Guys, there's a very big chance that that could happen. I'm not going to say it's going to happen right now, guys. Bitcoin's in kind of a weird spot. I don't really want to make a prediction on it right now. It's not unlikely that happens. It's not unlikely at all. They assume you're guilty though. Hashtag corruption. That's not the way it's supposed to work. We're talking about an ideal world, of course. There are places and times where that's going to happen, unfortunately. Guys, by the way, if you are enjoying the live stream and you do enjoy the videos, make sure you smash those likes, guys. We have 375 of you beautiful people in the live stream, but only about 225 likes. So make sure you go ahead and smash those likes. Let's moon those likes, and maybe that can help reinvigorate Bitcoin. I don't know how it will do that, but maybe it will. So go ahead and hit those likes. And also, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Guys, we do daily cryptocurrency technical analysis videos like this, and daily live streams, technical analysis and hangout live streams. Really enjoying this. Jeb, what about a test of the 21 EMA on the weekly? We'll go ahead and look at that. I have talked about that a couple times during the live stream already. I know some people have just tuned in, but if we look at the 20 exponential moving average, 2120, it's going to give you very similar data. This is an exponential moving average I've been looking at a lot over the past couple of weeks, and the reason for that is because Bitcoin historically shows a lot of respect to this moving average. As you can see, Bitcoin pulls back to this moving average often. Many times during a bull market, a healthy correction will come back to that level, and from there, Bitcoin will bounce. Guys, Bitcoin is sitting quite a bit above this 20 exponential moving average. If we go down and test that, there's nothing wrong with that. If Bitcoin comes down here and tests this and bounces, that's okay. But if Bitcoin breaks below that, that's when things start getting concerning. Because if you guys look back over here on the market, Bitcoin never, and I mean never, went below the 20 EMA. It never did it, except for on a wick over here. It never did it. You know when it did it? It did it at the end of the bull market. So we don't want to see Bitcoin go below that. That's why I keep saying if Bitcoin goes below 9K, we're in for a world of hurt. We need to be confident that Bitcoin is going to stay above $9,000 before we start making any crazy long-term trades and trying to call bottoms, because this could, I mean, the floor could still fall out from under us, guys. I know everybody's calling bullishness. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin myself, but we do need to hedge our bets, and we do need to understand that even though everything looks bullish, things can still fall apart. It can happen. It's not impossible that Bitcoin falls through this moving average. It's not impossible that the bull market ends. You need to be ready for every single scenario so that nothing surprises you. If nothing surprises you, then you're never going to lose money because you'll be ready for every outcome. We did just have a new subscriber, by the way. Mr. Merrick Kuzlik has subscribed to the channel. Welcome to the channel, my friends. I realize that I say a fellow or Mr., and the reason I do that is because 95% of you guys are male. Let's see in the chat if any of you guys are female. I know there are some female crypto fans out there. If you guys are female, let us know, or don't, because there are some weird people in this chat. But I am curious because for whatever reason, cryptocurrency is just massively male dominated. I mean, my analytics literally show like nearly 96% of you guys are male. Really interesting. Gary Page says, Jeb, with all the great fundamentals going on, why would Bitcoin go bear for long term? Now, I want to be clear on that. I wasn't saying that Bitcoin could go bear long term. By long term, when I say long term, I mean year plus. I'm not talking about a long term bearishness. I'm talking about Bitcoin potentially having a crash down here that could take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months to recover from. That's something that could very easily happen, even though the fundamentals are bullish. Throughout the entirety of the Bitcoin bear market here in 2018, the fundamentals were improving all the time. But technicals are what drove us down there. And more importantly, one fundamental in particular, retail interest and investor interest, I guess that's two, interest in general, was at a very, very It was at an all-time low, or at least a recent low since the bull market. Something like that could very easily happen. Let's see here. Frankly, I'm amazed the bulls are doing so well against the whale dumps. Yeah. This is not the time to lose faith. Every geopolitical flag points towards growth. Completely agree. On the longer term time frames, like out on the monthly and everything, I'm loving it right now. The next couple of weeks could be dangerous, though. We'll see. The late adopter says, does it count if I identify as female? All right. All right. I just realized I asked a bunch of libertarians what they identify, or what gender they are, and I should have expected all the jokes. I identify as Satoshi, not as a male. Thank you very much, guys. I identify as Satoshi Nakamoto because he has $1 million. I almost said $1 million. He's got 1 million Bitcoin. So identifying as Satoshi means that is all my Bitcoin now, and I will be taking my Bitcoin now. Thank you very much, whoever that has. Time and price will tell. I may wait until tomorrow to buy in. We'll see what happens, guys. You got to be ready for any scenario. Nothing surprises you. You'll be perfectly fine. And it's also a matter of knowing what you're talking about, guys. That's why I made the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you guys want to check this out, go ahead and click the link in the first description down below. Basically, what this is 9.5 hours of content teaching you about how to trade these markets, how to analyze these markets. There's a link for that in the description down below. We've got enough people here that I'm sure several of the people watching have gone through the course. We've had nearly 1,000 people join CT2A. So if anybody's gone through CT2A, tell us in the chat if you are a member of the Academy. Really interested to hear what your takes are on it. I identify as Satoshi's wife. I want a divorce and half of the Bitcoin. You can't have it. That's my Bitcoin, man. That's like saying that I'm gonna. You know what? That'd be a really interesting divorce case. I would love to see that. The later adopter. I would love to see how that goes down in court, because Satoshi could just pretend like, what? She's gonna take half of the Monopoly money? No, I bought the Monopoly game. You know? What are you gonna do by taking all my Monopoly money? That's not fair. I identify as whichever bathroom is available on my 10-minute break. Oh, that's pretty funny. I heard most institutions place long this week. I'm confused as to why it's dumping right now. That's what they want you to think. Did I miss something good, says Gerard? Yeah, would that count? I really want to know what would happen on that. Join the course, Jeb is your Mr. Miyagi. Thank you, Challenged Investor. I am your Mr. Miyagi. I'm gonna make you wash my car is what I'm gonna do. And by washing my car, you will learn the ins and outs of Kung Fu. Or karate, excuse me. And that has to do with Bitcoin. How? I don't know. But it's very important that you know how to do karate. Oh, guys. Guys, I'm really enjoying the live stream. Show some MACD on the higher time frames. With pleasure, Mr. Chris Frazier. I almost made that really slick. With pleasure, Mr. Chris Frazier. That's a tongue twister. Crap. With pleasure, Mr. With pleasure, Mr. Chris Frazier. There we go. That reminds me. Thank you for pointing that out. That was something I wanted to bring up. One of the reasons why I'm bearish on Bitcoin right now is because tomorrow, tomorrow starts in 2 hours, actually, because UTC -4 is getting, or UTC is getting close to 0 hours. There's going to be a bearish cross on the MACD. Almost guaranteed. At this point, I mean, we'd have to have some kind of miraculous, gigantic bounce for there not to be a bearish cross on the MACD. There's almost certainly going to be one. That's not good. The last time we saw that was back over here at the top, right over there. It's just, I don't need to do a whole lot of analysis on that to explain to you why that's not a good thing. Bitcoin's about to have a bearish cross on the MACD. We don't want to see that happen. I want to see this cross bear. I don't want to see it cross bearish, but if it does, at least that'll drive MACD lower, and from there we can use that as momentum to start building higher, because when MACD is below the 0 level, it uses that. It starts being dragged up towards the 0 level, and when you're above it, you start getting dragged back towards it. It's an oscillator. It oscillates around the 0 level. But keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and also look at the weekly chart, because we are also looking at a potential bearish cross on the weekly chart for the first time since earlier 2019. Guys, this is the kind of stuff I'm concerned about, is this. If we look back here in history, there weren't a whole lot of bearish crosses during the 2016-17 bull market. There just weren't a lot of them. Keep that in mind. It may take a year or two for or a year or so for the really strong bullish strength to start coming through. We might have some bearish things happen at the beginning of the bull market, and those things might not happen later on. Keep in mind that just because we think that markets are going to rally doesn't mean that they're going to. It's always going to be more complicated than that. It's always going to be. Always. Let's go ahead and zoom back in here to the shorter term time frames. Like I said, guys, if you are enjoying the live stream, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit that like button, guys. It does help the channel when you do that, and it also helps the live stream to get out in front of more people. And another thing is, it helps me to know that you guys are enjoying the video. So, guys, if you are enjoying the live stream, I would humbly ask you to hit that like button if you like the video. If you don't like the video, don't hit it. But if you want Keanu Reeves to come over and bake you cookies, you'll have to hit that like button to get that. MACD is bearish, but that means it will turn bullish in a week or two, then moon. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It could take longer than that. I mean, it will happen eventually, but it could take longer than that, and it could cause a lot of bearish things to happen that could cascade into something very bad for the market. That's not necessarily the way that works. Just because we're in a bull market, there's not just two modes to a market, guys. I know we talk about bull and bear markets, and we act like, oh, well, it's bullish now, it's bearish now. And if you're one, you're not the other. But guys, the fact of the matter is you can be in a bull market and have certain things happening, and you can be in a bear market and have certain things happening. You can be in a bull market and it not last for 2 or 3 years like the previous one did. Just because our previous bull markets have lasted a long time doesn't necessarily mean that this one is going to, guys. Keep that in mind. And I just realized that it looks like the market's sitting on top of the chat box. That was pretty cool. Went ahead and moved that. We will look at the MACD on the monthly chart. I don't think I just looked at that. MACD on the monthly chart is obviously looking very good. We would expect that to happen. It's not going to react to the shorter term time frame, the shorter term movement. MACD on the monthly chart typically is indicative of a bull market. And that's what I'm saying, guys. If Bitcoin does go into a little short term mini bear market or something, like worst case scenario, it's not going to last forever. It's going to last maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then we're probably going to have some bullish catalysts happen, and Bitcoin will rally again. A year from now, a lot of this isn't going to matter. Bitcoin's going to be moving to the upside, at least in my humble opinion. But it is something we need to be ready for. The late adopter says, do you get more donations on BTC or Ethereum address? I would say ETH, as most people have MetaMask or such as it's easier to send and receive. I actually basically get no donations. I just put those down there so that if anyone asks to do a donation, I don't have to go and find the address. I get pretty much no donations down there, and I've never have. And I've never pushed it because I don't want to just be begging for donations or anything. If I'm going to take money from you guys, I want to be offering a service like with the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. So if you want to donate, there are links down there, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. But I am appreciative if you do. It's that kind of thing, you know. By the way, guys, like I said, if you're enjoying the live stream, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I will give you a shout out. Free Hat says, oh, wait, hey, Jim. I'm fairly certain we test the weekly 21 before we go to new highs. I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm very inclined to agree with you. Guys, if you don't know what he's talking about, we've talked about it recently, but this moving average down here, I'm very inclined to agree that we're going to have a test of this. Guys, we had a massive rally here all the way up this, starting like right here and on. I was like, guys, this is getting ridiculous. We're seeing the end of 2017 at the beginning of the 2019 bull market. Of course we were going to have a correction, guys. Of course this was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. We might not have wanted to admit it. I've been talking about it for a long time, but it was obviously going to happen. So maybe what we're going to see happen is that Bitcoin consolidates for another 2 months or 2 weeks or so, comes down here, tests this, and bounces, and then just like in the 2017 bull market, we see Bitcoin come down, and when it's done, it healthily corrects back down here, and we bounce and we go on from there. That's kind of what I'm looking to see. Bitcoin is so addicting. Guys, Bitcoin is very addicting. I love sitting here and watching the markets. Love doing it. Absolutely love doing it. Someone did mention earlier that it looked like we were forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. That doesn't seem to have played out. I didn't really think it was going to. I'm going to go ahead on my other account and go ahead and close that long position I made prematurely, because now that Bitcoin's trending downwards, I'm really just not a fan of this position. That's where I'm opening my long. I'll definitely be opening a long with the tight stop loss down there, because the risk would be tiny and the reward would be massive. Yeah, I'll definitely be opening a long down there too, Nanek. Glorious, glorious coffee. Glorious, glorious coffee, guys. I can't live without my coffee. I'm your basic white girl. Meanwhile, in the long run, we all win. Let's see. Let us 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 see. How are we doing? Guys, I want to ask you, how are you guys doing today? Have you made any trades today? If so, are they profitable? Are they unprofitable? Have you enjoyed today's video? Is there any feedback you want to give me? If you have anything you want to get my attention on, now's the time to do it, because we're probably going to be wrapping the live stream up in about 20 minutes. Maybe a little less than that. Jeb, at what point would you put a short on Bitcoin? If Bitcoin falls below these moving averages out here on the 4-hourly, these ones that I was looking at as support, if it falls below these, that long position is probably going to get turned immediately into a short position. If Bitcoin falls below this moving average right here, shorting. I'm shorting down to like $10,000. What do we think is going down to? The first level of support is basically right below us. If we fall below that, next level of support's tentatively at $10,600 with a VPVR level. We can bring that up and show you. There's a little bit of a spike right here on the VPVR. I'd be looking at 10.6. From there, the next one I'm looking at is 10,000 because it's a big even. And honestly, from there, it's 9,000 flat, which is why I'll probably be opening a short position if Bitcoin falls below here. Excuse me. The trend is your friend. And guys, if you take anything from this live stream, take what I'm about to say. The trend is your friend. And a lot of times what people try to do is they try to make a trade when they think the trend is going to reverse. Instead of doing that, look for when the trend that's already in motion is going to continue. Because the vast majority of times, the trend isn't about to reverse. The trend is about to continue. So look for trades that you can make where you're betting on the current trend continuing. Because if you do that, more often than not, you're going to be making money. Right now, the trend is bearish. If you're going to make a bet, it's probably best that you bet that the bearish trend continues, especially right after we break a level of support. If you're gonna put a trade in, obviously you're gonna do it right after Bitcoin breaks a very powerful level of support, which is why currently on my other window right now I am settling that position, or excuse me, closing that position. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to go ahead and update this. I'm gonna close that with what? Let's see, what did I lose? 0.63%. See, that wasn't that big of a deal. That right there. I want to settle out. And I'm going to close that. Cool beans. There we go. Lost basically nothing because my entry point was just barely above where we are right now. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and put a trade in at a point like this, even though it's more... I want to make this clear also, guys. It's not a bad idea to put a trade in down here, even though it's more likely that Bitcoin crashes. Let me say that again. It's not a bad idea to put a trade in down here, a long trade, a buying trade, even though it's more likely that Bitcoin's going to crash here. Now you might say, Jeff, that sounds crazy. Why would you put a trade in when it's more likely that it's going to crash? The reason for that is, if you put a stop loss down here, you're risking maybe, let's say 2%. But if Bitcoin rallies, you're risking gaining 20%. Let's use simple numbers. So down here, you're risking losing 2%. Up here with the profit, you're risking making 20%. So that means if 5 times out of 10, Bitcoin falls down here, half the time Bitcoin falls and breaks bearish, you lose money. But you only lose 1%. You only lose 2%. But the other half of the time that Bitcoin rallies, you're going to make 20%. If you calculate that down into a ratio, what you're going to find is if you make that trade 100 times, more often than not, you're going to be in profit. And this trade, this idea that I just set up, which is actually the trade that we're looking at here on the market, the one that I opened that I had a feeling I would get stopped out of, it was still a good idea to make that trade because it was a tight stop loss, very clear where to put it because of the moving averages, very clear how much money we're going to make. It's quite a bit. It's probably 10% plus without leverage. So it's very clear that even though it's more likely that Bitcoin is going to break bullish here, or excuse me, break bearish here, it's still a good trade because if Bitcoin doesn't break bullish, statistically speaking, I'm going to make a lot more money than I stand to lose. That's why risk and reward is a lot more complicated than people make it out to be. It's not as simple as just saying I'm risking 5%, I'm risking gaining 10%. It's also taking into account how likely is it that Bitcoin goes bullish or bearish. That's something that we talk about in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. It's so important that I front-loaded it into the technical analysis portion here. Risk and reward builds into a game of statistics and probabilities, and both of those build into how to plan and execute profitable trades. We talk about this stuff before we even talk about a lot of the meat and potatoes of technical analysis itself, because it's really important that you understand that. Let's go ahead and catch up with chat here, guys. We've got about 360 of you guys in the chat still. Guys, make sure if you are enjoying the live stream that you hit that subscribe button and you hit that like button. I'm really enjoying subscribing. Excuse me, I'm really enjoying live streaming every single day, and doing that makes me want to keep doing it. It definitely shows me that you are enjoying it. Let's see here. All right, dollar cost averaging, that is the least stressful way to invest. Absolutely, guys. If you're not looking to get all stressed out about the market, dollar cost average with money that you are able to lose. Like I said earlier in the live stream, I'll say this again because it's so important. I talk about this a lot. I've got $500 sitting on my desk in 50s and grants. I got 10 of my friend of Grant. I got 10 of them. I got all of his little clones. I got 5. I got 100. I got 10 of them sitting right here. That money, if I were to take that money and I were to light it on fire and it were to go all up in flames, I douse it in gasoline, make sure that there's not anything left that I could try to hand into the bank and get a new note for. Make sure that all that money's gone. If I were to do that, nothing changes about my financial state. And I understand that some of you guys aren't in the same position that I'm in. You can't just go burn $500 and it doesn't change anything about that. Whatever that number is for you, if you can burn $20 and that doesn't change anything about your current financial situation, it doesn't change whether or not you can make your car payment. It doesn't change whether or not you can make rent. It doesn't change whether or not you can make your mortgage. It doesn't change whether or not you can go to college. You can pay off whatever debt you're trying to pay off. If it doesn't change anything about your monthly expenses, if it doesn't change anything about your lifestyle, that is money that is very much in the realm of being able to put in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and invest into things like real estate and whatnot. That's the money that you can do things with. That's your spending money, your blowing money. And let me tell you something, guys. We're going to wrap the stream up here talking about a little bit of life advice. This is advice. It's not financial advice, but it is life advice. If you're going to take a lot of risk getting into the cryptocurrency market, you need to understand a lot of things. But one of them is that, entrepreneurship, risk is in the definition, guys. If you're going into business, if you're going to start a business, if that's going to be your income, you are by default going to take risk. It is going to happen. You are going to have to be subject to that risk. At the same time, though, one of the most important things in business and trading and whatnot is mitigating risk that doesn't have a proper return and maximizing risk that does have a proper return. What I just talked about here with the chart, with having a very tight stop loss and very high levels of profit, this is the same risk that entrepreneurs take. Because let's say an entrepreneur has 100 grand in cash. They go and invest $10,000 into a business. This is their stop loss. If they lose that 10 grand, that's okay. That's their stop loss. But if they profit, they stand to make $1 million. They take that trade. They take that risk. They take a risk of losing $10,000, but they take the risk because the upside is $1 million in profit. That's what you need to consider, is that a lot of things that happen in cryptocurrency, a lot of things that happen with technical analysis are mirrors and they're analogies for the real world. And this is a good example of that. If you're going to be investing in cryptocurrencies, you need to have money that you can put aside, and you need to be able to invest in that. That being said, if you're an entrepreneur and you're willing to take more risks, such as I am, then you can put a lot more money in than that. I'm not telling you to, but I'm saying that you don't necessarily have to be as conservative, especially if you guys are very young and you don't have a lot of expenses already. It's much easier for you to risk a lot of money in cryptocurrency. That being said, we've talked about recently about how you want to be careful, but I will tell you something. A lot of the most successful people in the world, and I'm not considering myself one of the most successful people in the world, but what I did is I bet the farm on things that I do. Whenever I don't have a plan B. Let me tell you something, guys. Everybody wants to talk about plan B. What's your plan B? What's your plan C? What, if you fail, you're going to go to college? Or if you fail, you're going to join the Marines? If you fail, you're going to join the Army, the Air Force? If you fail, what are you going to do? That may be one of the most dangerous questions that we ask kids nowadays. If you fail, what happens? If you fail, what do you do? That sounds like a good question on the surface, but consider this. If you fail, you failed. But if you failed and you had a plan B, then you probably failed because you didn't give it your all. Because you could afford to fail. Because you could afford to fail. You probably failed because you could afford to fail. Because a lot of times when you fail, it's not because the market tanked. It's not because you got injured. It's not because something out of your control stopped you. Normally when you fail, and tell me with a straight face that I'm wrong on this, I will call you a liar. Normally when you fail, there are certain circumstances, but normally when you fail, it's your fault. Let that sink in. Normally when you fail, it's your fault. Normally when you fail in a trade, it's your fault. It's not a whale. It's not manipulation. It's not news. It's because you took a wrong trade. Normally when you fail in business, it's not because you got screwed over by your investor or some investor pulled out. It's not for any reason other than because you failed. So if you have a plan B, what you're essentially saying is that if I make a mistake, it's okay because I can go and do this instead. If you want to be really successful, if you want to be successful in your life, don't have a plan B. I never had a plan B for my backup for what I was doing. When I was growing up, I was poor, dirt poor. I'm not talking about, I didn't have the new Gucci belt. I'm talking about food. It was hard. I didn't have a plan B. There was no plan B. Plan B was me maybe living with a friend and being miserable and maybe suicidal. I didn't have a plan B. I made it work. So guys, the lesson that I want to wrap up with today is that if you're trying to do something big, if you have responsibilities and there are people that are relying on you, I'm not talking to people that have family and kids, I'm not talking to you, but if you're young, having a plan B might be one of the worst things you can do to yourself. If you fail, learn from your mistakes and start again. That's exactly right. If you fail, guys, that's an opportunity. Every single time you fail, it's an opportunity to learn. I remember in 4th grade, I was very socially awkward when I was young, and I wasn't really sure how to navigate social situations, and many people will still say I'm like that. But I was really bad at it back then. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I was kind of the awkward kid. I remember in 4th grade, we were doing something called the Eagle Run. It was just this running around the track. I remember stopping this kid, and this is going to sound really sad. I'm not emotional about it or anything. I don't care. But this is what I said to him. I'm like, dude, why does no one like me? Can you tell me? Why do people not like me? Like, because what I wanted his feedback. I didn't realize until years later what I was doing. What I was doing is I wanted him to tell me why something that I didn't want to happen was going on. I was getting feedback. I was getting reinforcement criticism. I was getting criticism to make myself into a better person. So when you fail, use that as a way to better yourself. Don't get stopped by criticism. Don't get stopped by failure. Use it as a learning experience. Every time I feel like I'm doing something wrong or that there's a chance I'm doing something wrong, I'll go to one of my friends. I'll say, guys, what do you think about this? And maybe it's not even their place. They might not have any idea about what I'm talking about. I might be talking about a business thing, and they're not in business. I might be talking about something that they have nothing to do with. They might not have context, but a second opinion is always a good thing. You cannot learn from mistakes on paper. You need to feel the pain. Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is one of the reasons I don't talk about paper trading a whole lot, is because I want you to feel the pain. Because if you lose in paper trading, it's like, whatever. I don't have any incentive to make money, and I don't have incentive not to lose money again. But anyway, guys, we did just have a couple people subscribe. We had a Ramon Alvarado subscribe to the channel. Welcome, my friend. And Tori White. Welcome to the channel, my friends. If you guys are new here, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We do daily cryptocurrency technical analysis during the videos, and we do daily live streams as well. So if you guys are enjoying the live stream here, you can get more of it by hitting that subscribe button. I'm sorry, guys, I got the hiccups. Make sure you do that. Who Let the Bulls Out said, real talk, Jeb. Always enjoy the videos. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Let's see here. Josh Grover says, you a gangsta. Well, thank you. If you fail, learn from your mistakes and start again. Absolutely. I think we will see 2017 prices. Absolutely. I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks or anything, but I think it'll probably happen before the end of Q1 2020. I enjoy pain. Sheesh. Yeah, that's another thing you could do. That's a more advanced thing that I've talked about with people, is that if you can learn to enjoy the pain, which sounds really weird, but if you can learn to just kind of become a masochist about pain in entrepreneurship and be like, every time it's pain, you get tested. Like, you got knocked down, you're just like, okay, world, what do you got for me? What do you have next? What can you throw at me other than what you just did? Hit me harder next time. If you can have that attitude, you will go places, dude. Because when I have that attitude, I go far. When other people have that attitude, they go far. You see some of the toughest people in the world. You see some of these athletes, these greatest of all times, the GOATs, as they talk about. You got LeBron James, Tiger Woods, these kind of people. You see them, when they're knocked down, they're like, okay, what else you got? Was that all? They shit talk the world and the universe, and they say, hey, is that really all you got? You can't do worse? If you can get in that mindset, you can do anything you set your mind to, guys. Explain how people do 100x leverage without getting liquidated. A lot of times they do get liquidated, which is why they normally don't trade with a whole lot of money, and they certainly don't trade with all of their position, because a lot of times they will. Also, if the market's moving, and in certain ways it's very easy to tell if it's going to continue or not. They take profits very quickly. They have stop losses even below that liquidation point. GeoAce just donated $5, says, what's your opinion on Crypto Kirby's TA? I haven't watched a whole lot of his TA. People talk about him a whole lot, but I haven't given him a whole lot of... I haven't watched a whole lot of his videos, so I can't really give you a valid answer to that question, unfortunately. I know a lot of people watch him, and a lot of people reference him over here on the channel. Thomas Glavinick says, Jeb, you're doing great, and you're going to be one of the most charismatic crypto influencers. Well, thank you so much. Charisma is something I do try to work on quite a bit, so I'm glad you noticed that. That's a very, very nice compliment. Thank you very much. Chris D has just subscribed to the channel as well. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Guys, if you want a shout out and you want your name in the lights for about 15 seconds, make sure you smash that subscribe button and the like button, guys. We're probably going to be wrapping up in about 5 minutes or so. It's easy to play to your advantage, then try to change your being to something else when you are older. Just find out what you're good at and go with that. Yep. WTF with bad news bear lupus market. Where's Kelly? Challenge investor said with the $2 donation. I'm not really sure what you were going. I'm not sure what you were talking about. Chris Frazier said, Jeb, you closed your long earlier. Yeah, if it starts going back up, if we can get above this high, I might reopen it. But honestly, I'm not really happy about it. 100x use lunch money only. Always go all in. 100x is good for a small amount of your stack. Absolutely, guys. If you're going to be using 100x leverage, please be responsible. Please be responsible. Please, pretty please do that. Any opportunities to work in the crypto industry other than trading? Guys, there are a ton of opportunities to work in the crypto industry other than trading. I'm going to need some employees in the future also. I already have my editor, but I'm going to need to flesh out the team as the next year or so goes out. So there's always opportunities within YouTubers, because a lot of these YouTubers, it's not just them. A lot of the bigger YouTubers, bigger than me, especially, they have like whole teams behind the scenes that you guys don't see. There's a lot of work in this market, especially if you can get in early, as we are now. Do you have altcoins, Jeb? Says Ronald R. Ronald R., old-time subscriber. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream, excuse me. You've been on the channel for a while. I don't currently hold any altcoins. All of it's in Bitcoin. You guys know I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. No altcoins at the moment. Might do a short on Ethereum. Jeb, where are you based? I'm based out of Florida, the sunshine state where the sun never shines. Let's see here. Yay, Chris, Jeb is the GOAT. Jeb the GOAT. I am not the GOAT, but that is definitely something to aspire to. Anyway, guys, I think we are going to have to go ahead and wrap the live stream up here. Actually, I have a lot of things I need to get to tonight, and I do actually have people over now, so I need to go and entertain them. I'm sure they're entertaining each other, but we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys did enjoy the live stream, there's a few things you can do to support the channel. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, guys. We do daily cryptocurrency technical analysis. You hit the like button as well. And also, if you are subscribed to the channel, I want you to do one thing for me. Hit that notification bell, guys. YouTube is horrible. It's terrible about giving you guys updates when the videos come out. It won't tell you in your subscription feed a lot of the times. It won't tell you. So make sure you hit that notification bell for when I become the next Florida man, and you will be updated on that, as Don Johnson just so eloquently put. So guys, make sure you hit that notification bell. I want you to hit that subscribe button if you're new here. And also, guys, there's a few other things that you can do. If you did enjoy the TA today and you want to learn about how to do technical analysis, I do highly encourage you to check out the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, guys. We did a lot of hanging out and chatting today, but we did a whole lot of technical analysis earlier in this live stream. If you're interested after this live stream is over, the VOD will be up on YouTube, and you can go back and watch that. If you want to learn how to do technical analysis, how to call these markets, how to predict what these markets are going to do, if you want to learn the very basics, all the way up through much more advanced concepts, understanding everything you need to know on how to set up trades with the actual important preliminaries and the prerequisites like these two videos, you want to learn about gut feeling, you want to learn about the things you need to do to execute and work in these markets in a profitable manner, you're going to need an education. The Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is $200, $199, linked in the description. You have 10 hours of content at your fingertips for life. All current, future content, it's yours. You get it forever, and you can access it anywhere you have an internet connection. If you make one trade based off of what we talk about in this course, which I'm sure you will, and make more than $200, which is very easy, especially if you're using leverage, you're going to make the course price back and better. In my opinion, that's a great investment. That's why I like keeping the price so low, even though I could easily charge $1,000 for this course, and it would sell just as well. It would sell like hotcakes. It would make a lot more money. I keep it low price because I want you guys to be able to learn these markets. So check that out in the description down below. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to do it for today's video. I am really, really happy that you guys decided to tune in. We had almost 400 people tune in during this live stream. Really excited about that, guys. I'm really excited about what's to come for the rest of this week, the rest of this month, and most importantly, the rest of this year, guys. We got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. So very excited. I hope you guys did enjoy today's live stream. If you did, make sure you tell us in the comment section, and make sure you tune in for tomorrow's video. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. That is going to do it for today's live stream. And I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always. And I will see you guys in the next video.